Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. To start things off, billionaire Eric Schmidt, the former chairman of Google, is a budding Bitcoin and blockchain enthusiast who said Ethereum could be a powerful platform whose untapped potential is off the charts. Schmidt made the remarks during a live event with economist Tyler Cohen, hosted by Village Global in San Francisco. In the wide-ranging conversation, Schmidt discussed the future of technology, corporate governance, reform, Google's hiring practices, and bifurcation of the internet. When asked whether he thought blockchain was overrated or underrated, Schmidt gave a compound answer. He said in the public format, overrated; in the technical use, underrated. He said in the video below, today, blockchain is a great platform for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, and it's a great platform for private banking transactions where people don't trust each other. And quote, we spoke about that a couple of weeks ago when a lot of the other governments were coming forward and they were talking about in particular that they liked blockchain and or cryptocurrencies that you were able to build your own private chain on or have some type of like privatized transactions, or even something within the corporation that you are currently running where you can pretty much transact between each other, even if you don't trust each other, because everything is written on top of the blockchain. And this is why the entire thing is very significant, because in the history of ever, we've never had anything like this. So the fact that businesses and corporations and countries even can use potentially, maybe, the same blockchain and just look up all the records without anyone having to lie or say that they didn't do something is quite significant. Schmidt believes that exciting developments are occurring with Ethereum that could revolutionize business and society. He said, I think the most interesting stuff that's going on are the beginnings of execution on top of the blockchain, the most obvious example being the capability of Ethereum. He said, and if Ethereum can manage to figure out a way to do a global synchronization of that activity, that's a pretty powerful platform. That's a really new invention, end quote. That's a statement that Vitalik Buterin, I'm pretty sure, has said himself many times. As CCN has reported, Buterin had recently denied rumors that he was stepping back from Ethereum development, saying he's focusing on encouraging the work of other developers in the open source developer community. Every 3.5 weeks, someone says that Vitalik Buterin has said that he's leaving the Ethereum project. He's threatened it before many times in the past, and he said that he's probably not going to leave for quite some time. I think, or rather what I assume is happening with Vitalik and the entire Ethereum thing, is that he's trying to make sure that his vision at least comes to fruition. Exactly everything that he's been trying to do the last couple of years, especially with Plasma and Casper and sharding and stuff like that. I have a strong inkling that Vitalik will probably step back from Ethereum around, let's say, about 5 years. I can definitely see that being a possibility, and I'm pretty sure he'll try and create a new coin that everyone else will completely fall over themselves for, just to try and get a shot to be able to have. But what okay, so you may have noticed as well that over the last couple of months there has either been like, you either completely love Ethereum or you despise the living heck out of it. I think Ethereum once again has a very bright future, simply because a lot of the richest people in the entire world are backing Ethereum, and I think the thing that is going to push it forward for everyone else in the entire world is when we finally do have those scaling solutions, which we're also not going to talk about right now. But every single week we have at least 2 or 3 articles with some major hyper awesome uber rich person who talks about how much that they love Ethereum. But I think what's holding all of them back is from telling other people to buy it and or adopt it, comes down to the scalability of the platform as it is right now. Yeah, let's move on. China is kind of not in the news, contrary to several media reports, including from a cryptocurrency-focused online publication with the banner, China lifts Bitcoin ban. Individuals and businesses can now own cryptocurrencies legally, as well as tweets and statements by public figures. The report that Beijing has backtracked from its moratorium on Bitcoin trading is actually a misinterpretation of a ruling by a Shenzhen court. Here's the actual tweet that someone wrote. It said, unfortunately, the above tweet also created some confusion, with many journalists and personalities thinking that more than 1 year of Bitcoin bans in China had ended, resulting in investors rushing to buy Bitcoin in the hope of gaining profits. But it was actually based on the October 25th court ruling of the Shenzhen Court of International Arbitrations, or the SCIA, declaring Bitcoin as a property and not a currency, citing existing laws of the People's Republic of China. The decision makes it legal for Chinese citizens and merchants to trade, or rather to transfer and own digital currencies. The decision said, and I do quote, "Although Bitcoin may not be legal currency, that does not prevent it from being protected by law as a property." This was said by the SCIA in the release case analysis. They said the party contends that Bitcoin has characteristics of a property that can be controlled by the owner. It has economic value and can bring economic benefits to the owner. This does not break any laws. This arbitrator agrees, end quote. This is exactly what we spoke about a couple of weeks ago. I don't know why this took a couple of extra weeks to kind of make the rounds. I think everyone just gets really excited. I mean, when we have news and stuff like that of China releasing their cryptocurrency ratings, it seems like all but an inevitability that China will at some point allow crypto once again within the country, just a matter of when. I heard someone talking, first of all, I heard someone talking before, and someone mentioned something very similar inside in the comments, I think in the last video, the video before that, and they were talking about that they assume that China won't allow cryptocurrencies again until they control like 95% of the Bitcoin mining, and then at that point they'll feel comfortable enough to allow other people to in the country to be able to own some and stuff. As of now, I saw this making the rounds. It's fake. It's half of it's fake, you know, more or less. Like, it is legal in China. For a long time we thought that the entirety of holding a Bitcoin inside of China was completely legal. It is now allowed, but it's just that cryptocurrency trading is still not allowed within the country, which is also still kind of weird, because you would have assumed that markets once again would have moved in some sort of way, simply because we know that 85% of the importance of cryptocurrencies, or rather being able to own them in China, is completely legal. And, you know, it's whatever. You shouldn't, rather, I don't think that crypto trading is as important as being able to own crypto. So this is why I'm still a little interested as to why the prices of cryptocurrencies have not moved, even after we have had clarification over the last 2 weeks that it is legal within China. Yeah. So this one's quite interesting. Next up, eToro, a European social trading and multi-asset brokerage company, has announced the launch of the Good Dollar Experiment, an open source community project that seeks to reduce wealth inequality by introducing a new cryptocurrency and blockchain platform. eToro is initially injecting $1 million into the project and is calling for more brains, ambassadors, and funders to join the experiment. The project is being incubated by the company in London and in Tel Aviv. They said, "We believe that we can create a mass market cryptocurrency that is engineered to reduce inequality and provide a universal basic income. Engineers, product designers, and economists are currently developing the prototype. Today, it is step one on a long, ambitious journey." This was said by Yoni Assia, who is the co-founder and CEO of eToro. He said, or rather someone said, there's a quote here, "Inequality is the crucial economic challenge of our time. In 2017, just 1% of the world's population owned more than half of the wealth. With the rise of technology unemployment, the tech industry needs to find solutions for these or those with less to participate in the economy and pursue their purpose," end quote. The Good Dollar Experiment aims to create a new economic framework with a cryptocurrency that would be available to anyone or everyone, and which would pay social interest to those who have less. The cryptocurrency would be minted and continuously distributed to any person for free, based on social identity verification on a blockchain platform. The cryptocurrency is part of a broader attempt to create a global universal basic income. A UBI is the idea that people receive a regular, unconditional stipend that helps them cover their cost of living. Previous UBI experiments have shown to reduce hospitalization, crime, and poverty rates. There have been actually a couple of countries, if you are interested in this at all, a lot of countries since the 70s have been trying to do experiments with this. In the 70s and 80s, they didn't prove as successful because we didn't have the level of what some might call inequality that we do right now. And there is a continual fear that because of the rapid rise of technology and the rapid rise of self-driving cars and trucks and Ubers and all this other stuff, and supermarkets that no longer have cashiers inside of them, that eventually we're going to have a world where there aren't many jobs for a lot of people. It's assumed that within the next, let's say, 15 to 35 years, somewhere within that time frame, that around 25 to 40% of all jobs that we have right now will be completely gone, as they will be completely automated by machines. I don't know if how many of you have seen the videos online of like warehouses full of machines with no humans inside of them, maybe just one who comes to check on them every 12 hours to make sure that nothing has broken down. We are entering a vastly technological world very, very fast. This is very similar to what we've heard as well from the guy who made EOS. His name is Dan Larimer. He spoke a couple of months ago as well about something like UBI based. He said that the speculation was that he was going to develop it on top of EOS, and the people were saying that he might try to build it on top of EOS and have it on something that people are now calling, which is not the official name, of Steam 2.0. I personally like the idea of these things. I know a lot of people don't care for them, but when just realistically, like, look at the numbers and stuff like that, as far as where the world is right now, not to make this like a political channel, there are people in the world, in many countries, who actually like have to eat mud just to get their stomachs full, and you have people who are worth billions upon billions of dollars. And there was a podcast I was listening to about the wealth that is potentially going to be created by cryptocurrencies. You know, this is all in the world where Bitcoin hits 100,000 and Bitcoin ends up hitting 1 million, and even potentially 100 million, you know. And they were stating that it's believed that we're going to have the world's first trillionaires simply because of cryptocurrencies, especially if we end up, let's say hypothetically, having a world where Bitcoin has absorbed the world's money. Who do you think is going to benefit more? Is it the person with 0.000001 Bitcoin that they have right now, or maybe not even any at all, or the twins who have 150,000 Bitcoin, around 300,000 Ethereum? And you know, there's like I said, not to make this political at all, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people who are listening understand exactly where I'm coming from, even if you don't agree with what I'm saying. We will get to a point where people have to figure out how to either make new jobs or find a way for humans to get what people are calling free money through some type of a universal basic income. I said this before, and I mean, logically, the problem that a lot of people have with the universal basic income comes down to the fact that people think that their taxes would have to be raised in order to help those who are then less fortunate. The idea behind a lot of these things that are happening right now, especially when it comes to the cryptocurrency projects, is that your taxes or nothing else would have to be raised at all for you or anyone else that you know. And this is why they said that it would, money would be created on a whatever type of basis, and this would be then given out to people who are actually on the network. It said it's somewhere around, where was the actual? Based on a social identity verification on the blockchain platform. Dan Larimer has said the exact same thing. He was talking about either having EOS have a regular 4% yearly inflation, and that yearly inflation be spread across the entirety of the network for people who are part of it. And part of it comes down to a social identity verification. And it's not like your fingerprints or your eye scan. It's more like you have a digital ID on top of this network, and this is how you claim your money every time that new ones are minted or created and stuff like that. It's a very interesting idea. I think that we are but a couple of years away from this. The world is expected to change a lot within the next 2 or 3 years. That's always, do your own research, what have you. But really, actually do it. Like, watch documentaries, read books, watch things that are out there about the way that the world is going to change. A lot of people don't believe it, and I find it very perplexing that 10 years ago, we didn't have, think about the year 2000. We didn't have Google, we didn't have Uber, we didn't have Amazon, we didn't have so many of these major corporations that we have right now. We didn't have smartphones, we didn't have video chat. And I'm sorry for rambling on, but you kind of get exactly where I'm going. The idea that this won't happen, or that there won't be a future where machines have taken over 90% of jobs because they can do everything mathematically calculated and therefore better than humans can, especially there are robots who are doing surgery right now. Point is, this is going to happen, and I can only assume that we're probably going to have a number of different platforms who are going to try and be the UBI, but I think it makes a bit more sense to have multiple UBI platforms. I can definitely see, let's say, the next 5 years, One of the UBI platforms is going to launch, let's say in the next 2 years, and 3 years after that, I can definitely see a government somewhere in the world trying to integrate with this or trying to undertake the project as well, simply because they realize or see what's coming and they don't want things to get any worse than they already might be. But yeah, let's move on. Next up, the US dollar pegged crypto token known as Carbon USD has just launched as the first stablecoin on the EOS platform. The token developer Carbon announced the news in a press release on Friday, adding that it believes making the token interoperable across key blockchain networks will provide most value for the crypto industry in the long term. Carbon USD, which has been live on Ethereum for 2 months, can now be transferred onto the EOS blockchain, giving users even lower fees and faster settlement than on Ethereum, according to the firm. Carbon also offers a portal that provides users the facility to interact with their EOS application and includes native smart contracts for one-to-one redemption from tokens into real USD. Sam Troutvine, CEO and co-founder of Carbon, said, "We are honored and excited to be the first stablecoin on EOS and to play such a crucial role in such a burgeoning ecosystem. Stablecoins are critical infrastructure for value, and we think providing this to EOS further enhances the ecosystem. Institutional investors, hedge funds, and exchanges will get early access to the token." The release adds, with fiat currency deposits at Carbon's partner bank, Nevada-based Prime Trust, being used to create new Carbon USD tokens. I think it's interesting that when we have for a side note, other cryptocurrency projects, and like we have like a True USD, and like sometimes it'll be called like Tust, or like the Gemini US dollar is sometimes called Gust. This would be Cust. For those who aren't native English speakers, it's like another way of saying cursed, or like you said a bad word. So this is why I'm pretty sure they haven't shortened it down to Cust. Anyway, yes, yet another stablecoin that we are having. It's kind of cool that it's between EOS and Ethereum. That's wonderful. I don't personally think that we need any more stablecoins. I think if we get like news about 3 more stablecoins that are going to be launched, I'm probably never going to talk about stablecoins again, unless like Tether drops down to like 10 cents or something like that, because it's just a bit ridiculous right now. I understand that everyone is trying to make their own stablecoin to be able to not remain relevant, but like to show that they're in the space. But there's really no need for this many stablecoins at this point. Like, especially, I personally feel usually, but this is not how money works. If everyone just, banded together and pooled their money together to make around 10 to 15 different stablecoins, that's great. But the fact that we now have like 47 floating around the world, just a bit too much, at least for me. Next up, the over-the-counter market for Bitcoin in hyperinflation-ridden Venezuela has skyrocketed to reach a trading volume of more than 1,000 Bitcoin over the last week. It has stayed at this level since the same second week of August, seeing spikes up to 1,065, 916, and 1076 Bitcoin over the same time period. Here's the chart. And I wish I could actually see these numbers, because I'm pretty sure it's a very graphic indication of exactly what's been going on inside of the country. If you've been watching the news at all and you have Googled or YouTubed Venezuela, it is getting very, very, very bad. There were people who were holding entire pillowcases full of money, and it was like, I can't remember the exact number. It was an entire pillowcase full of money, like 100 bills, and I think it was the equivalent of like $2 US or something like that. This phenomenon was observed in April as well, with volume spiking up to 500 Bitcoin, coinciding strongly with the socio-economic problems facing the country due to the sliding value of the bullet. It's not even sliding anymore, like it's dirt. The matter is further complicated by the launch of the Petro cryptocurrency, which is aimed to be pegged to the bolivar and worth close to 1 barrel of oil. I would have, like, how do you peg it to the worst currency that we have on Earth right now? It just doesn't make a lot of sense. What's happening in that country is just out of control. It just, no part of it really makes a lot of sense. I don't understand the people who are ruling or governing that country. Like, you would be better off having the entire country just adopt a Bitcoin. Even with the 3 to 5 transactions per second, it still would have made a lot more sense than what they're doing right now. We had news a couple of days ago. I didn't really have it in, obviously, the whole Venezuela situation makes me very, it's like happily upset, like happy because crypto is spreading in the country and people are finding other ways to take control of their money. Like people are paying in Dash, people are buying and mining Bitcoin and Ethereum and stuff like that, and they're using these to like buy things in the store, but upset because of the entire thing that's happening in the country. Like it's sad that the country has to go through this madness in order to for people to kind of fall into cryptocurrencies. But I hope that in the long run that what they're transferring their bolivars into cryptocurrencies, hopefully that we do see like a massive spike in prices of cryptocurrencies so these people can get money and potentially get out of the country. There was so the thing that happened about a day or two ago was the Venezuelan president mandated once again that everything or something else like had to be denominated in their cryptocurrency, which is also trash. And I think if you want to leave the country and get a passport, you also have to buy that cryptocurrency. The whole thing is just one load of madness. But this is going to be news for a very long time. I can only assume for like the next 2 or 3 years, this is going to be news until finally someone in the country is like, hey, let's just switch over to a real cryptocurrency and stop giving people nothing to go to the store with. Yeah. Last thing, just want to touch on this really quick. Bitcoin Cash is having a hard fork, I think, within the next 10 days, maybe even less than 10 days or something like that. And forgive my language, I feel like this is something that no one cares about, but it's written everywhere about. Every single website that I used or was looking at earlier, this news is all over the place. I don't think there's an actual Bitcoin Cash civil war. Like I said, forgive my French. Not gonna even curse, but forgive it anyway. I feel like Roger Ver and Craig Wright think that Bitcoin Cash is more popular than Bitcoin Cash actually is. They keep comparing it. I think in their world, they keep comparing Bitcoin Cash to Bitcoin, and just even by name alone, it's not, regardless of the actual crypto politics. The last 2 weeks, I've been seeing nonstop news about the Bitcoin Cash hard fork. I can't wait for this thing to actually be over. Craig Wright has said that he's threatening to crash the Bitcoin Cash that we have right now, because they're both saying that Roger Ver is saying that this is happening because of a cash grab. Craig Wright is saying that this is happening because of something. And like I said, I'm probably gonna unless the Bitcoin Cash hard fork results in like a 25% increase in price for either one of the forks or the new coins or something like that, I'm probably just going to skip completely over it. There is no real civil war. Like, no one really cares about it. That's just my personal opinion. There may be many people who are listening to this right now who have slammed on their keyboard or are now red in the face with anger. It's like grown men fighting over something that shouldn't even be fought over. Like, if you really care about the cryptocurrency space, just deal with your own coin. Like, stop forking every single coin that we have into another fork. I can almost assure you by the middle of 2019, the people who are in Bitcoin Cash 2.0 are going to have some type of a problem, and they're going to try and fork it again because they're going to say that they got an email from Satoshi, and then around 2021 they're going to have another problem, and then all these forks, in my humblest of humble opinions, are going to completely disappear. Normal people don't really care about all these forks. Like, people care about these forks as far as like when the fork happens, you get a new coin, and most people end up. I've seen the forums, I've seen the websites, I've seen people talking about it on other places, and even amongst my friends. When forks happen, people sell their forked coins for Bitcoin or Ethereum or XRP. Like, no one, and I'll say it in the nicest terms, when you deal with heavy-handed investors or investors in general who are long-term focused on the cryptocurrency market and where crypto is going to go, there is a very tight range of the coins that are being looked at right now, and they're typically Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Litecoin, EOS. That's usually as far as the range goes, and everyone is, it's not to say that other coins won't make it. I do believe in a lot of other projects, but when you talk about when people get their free coins and their forked coins, they usually sell them off for one of those 5 coins. So like I said, they're now threatening each other, and there's been no real interest about any of this. Like, no one actually cares. But Craig Wright and Roger Ver have been going on to like talk shows and other YouTube channels to scream at each other back and forth, and it's like, you both need to have several seats, because no one really cares about any of this. Point is, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, and or evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. Thank you once again for watching and or listening. I do appreciate all of the support. And yeah. Oh, come on. If you want a war. Okay. I'll talk to you all soon. See you.